Audio rolling in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Jeremiah Show. Dr. D, happy Memorial Weekend. What a great weekend to celebrate our loved ones that have, and observe our loved ones that have fought for this country and done so much to protect our rights and protect our country. You know, Memorial Day is obviously an American holiday. It's observed typically on the last Monday of May. And we are honoring on this show today men and women who have served our country and have died in the U.S. military. Memorial Day in 2021, this year, is on Monday, May 31st. This coming up weekend is Memorial Day weekend. So it's originally known as Decoration Day. It originated in the years following the Civil War and became an official federal holiday in 1971. Many Americans observe Memorial Day by visiting the cemeteries, visiting their loved ones who have passed in war, in love and war. Unofficially, of course, it marks kind of the beginning of the summer season. So we have some very special guests on today to talk about In Love and War. Our guest today is Roxanne Seeman. She's a friend of the show, hasn't been on for a couple of years, but we are so glad to have her back. And we're joined by pianist Elise Salberg and vocalist Hannah Goldblatt. Welcome, everybody. Roxanne is an American songwriter and lyricist. She is known for her songs by Billy Hughes, Philip Bailey, Phil Collins, Earth, Wind and Fire, Barbra Streisand, Bette Midler, the Sisters of Mercy, the Jacksons, and Jackie Chang. Roxanne has 2 Emmy nominations, Dr. D. That's 2 more than you or I have
combined.
We've also got on the show today Elise Salberg. She's a Japanese-American pianist. She's a composer and a songwriter. Best is known right now for playing keyboards with Chloe XL, and Elise is the founder of Turn Up Her Mic. You can find her at elisesalberg.com. Hannah Goldblatt, she's a vocalist and such a beautiful voice. Hannah, welcome to the show. They are all here to talk about the Veterans History Project, and their song is called In Love and War. As an advocate for the Veterans History Project 20th anniversary event celebration, Roxanne Seeman contributed a song performance in tribute to her father, Murray Seeman. He's a World War II veteran. And there's an introduction at the Veterans History Project 20th anniversary event celebration last year. Roxanne had a collection of video interviews, photos, and she donated all of these and these letters, and she donated to the Library of Congress archives. Pianist Elise Solberg accompanied Hannah Goldblatt singing In Love and War, written by Roxanne Seeman with Charles Fox. And the performance was filmed at Max Sennett Studio, so you can check it out. And it was live streamed on November 7th, 2020 from the Library of Congress, Washington, D.C. Mark Sweeney, Principal Deputy Librarian of the Library of Congress, introduced songwriter Roxanne Seeman. And at this event, it's a really great performance. Check it out. So Roxanne Seeman, Elise Salberg, and Hannah Goldblatt are, again, our special guests today to talk about their song, In Love and War. And they're also going to tell the stories of their fathers, their grandfathers, and the family members who set an example of service and sacrifice for generations to come. This is a really special show. And at the end, I want to talk about my grandfathers and my father, who all fought as well. The legacy endures through their family members' memories and continues to inspire through the Veterans History Project. So just real quickly, the Veterans History Project of the American Folk Life Center collects, preserves, and makes accessible the personal accounts of American war veterans so that the future generations may hear directly from the veterans themselves and better understand the realities of war. Okay, so welcome everybody. What a great subject for this Memorial Day weekend 2021.
Thank you, Jeremiah.
Roxanne, let's start with you. First let's go into a little bit more of a description of the Veterans History Project and how you got involved.
Well, my father had done an interview around 2008 or 9. It was videotaped. It was taken by PATV. It's a local public access station on Long Island, now called NSTV. And they ended up taking they interviewed 33 veterans, and they compiled all these clips, put them together, and submitted them as a program to the New York Emmys. I wanted to say that they got an Emmy nomination for this program. They also took my father's interview and 2 other veterans, compiled them into a compilation video of 3 that was 22 minutes. My dad's was 12 minutes. And they put it on YouTube. And I used to watch that with him. He died in 2017. He was 103 years old. So when so when he did the video, he was, in his 90s, in his later 90s. They also did a round table video. At the time, when it was during COVID, I had this video and I had these pictures, and I thought it'd be a wonderful idea to donate them to the Veterans History Project. And I wrote an email to the director, Karen Lloyd, and the next day I got an email back. And it turned out they explained to me what they needed for the Veterans History Project. You need 30 minutes of video, or you can have it with pictures. That's the requirement. So we have pictures, documents, original things. And anybody can do this. And then they archive it, they professionally scan it and treat it and archive it. And then you can actually go to their site and see all of the veterans' histories, which is amazing, to tell their stories. And you can do it on an iPhone if you have a veteran, and it can be any veteran of any war. Anyway, so I contacted the station because I wanted to get the full video, because the video for 30 minutes, I knew he spoke more than 12 minutes. So I did get it. I did finally get it, which was fantastic. But that's the background of the Veterans History Project and how I came to contact them. And when I did contact them, they asked me if I would be willing to, they invited me to do a performance for their 20th anniversary celebration.
So such a neat project. Today I was looking up for my grandfathers. I was trying to find some information, and this would have been such a great site to, if their stories were there, and I could have gone to them and refreshed my memory on all of their, their accomplishments and what they did. So what a great program. And I'm going to give out the, you can go, if you want to become involved, go to loc.gov/vets and see. It's a great website. You can really find out. There's a lot of frequently asked questions that you can get all your questions answered. How do you know how someone is eligible? How they become eligible for the program, Roxanne? Are you familiar with it?
Anyone who has served.
Okay.
It's anyone who has served our country. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be, it doesn't have to be on location someplace either.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Again, that's loc.gov/vet. So go check it out when you get a chance. Let's talk about how you became, how you became involved with the song In Love and War, and then how Hannah became involved, and also Elise. Talk about the song a little bit, and then I want to hear the stories. Go back to each of your fathers and your grandfathers and hear some of their personal stories a little bit more.
Well, when they asked me for a song, I had thought of a few different things, but this particular song, I really seemed that it would be very suitable. I had written it 20 years before with Charles Fox for a television show, and it was a much longer version. And so for this, we got together, Elise, Hannah, and I, at my studio, and we rearranged it. Elise did a complete makeover of the arrangement, and we edited it down, and Hannah came in, and we just rearranged the whole song in terms of also the lyrics as well, so that it would be for this project.
And we are playing In Love and War when we go to our breaks today. So there are actually 3 different versions, and we're going to play a little bit of all of those today. So that's beautiful, beautiful song. So Elise, how did you come in and how did you rearrange the song? What did you, when you first heard Roxanne's song, and then when you reinterpreted it or how you saw it, how did that take shape? What were your inspirations?
Oh my goodness. Well, it was such an honor to be asked by Roxy, first of all, to be a part of this. And so I was really excited to get my hands on it and try and make an arrangement that would work for this. So I think my main inspiration was the song itself. I took some inspiration from the lyrics, and I kind of reimagined it more of a ballad, if you will, and wanted to make the vocals kind of the showcase, the kind of staple of the whole performance. And I also added some more harmonies to it to kind of make it more of a ballad. I think there's a way to do that, and I think it's a little bit slower as well, but we kind of wanted to make it a more just, I think in the sense of, I think it was more upbeat, so I wanted to make it a little more, I don't want to say serious, but a little more darker in tone.
Yeah.
That was what I was going for with that.
Well, beautiful. You did wonderful work. A very beautiful song. I love the, what you all did with it. And then, Hannah, did you come in next, or how did you come in on the collaboration and the vocals?
Yeah, so Roxanne had already found Elise to do the piano portion when I was asked to join the project. And so we were working on getting versions of that. So once I got the piano portion from Elise, I took it into my studio and I recorded some vocals for it. And then I just started practicing more. And then we would go into Roxy's studio and all as a group practice, work on how we wanted to sing it. So it wasn't like any type of session. It was more like we were working together to rearrange the song, make it fit the project, and like really feel the emotion behind it and the message that we're trying to portray for the song. So we did that a few times, and then we got into Max Sennett Studios, got all done up, and performed the song, and it was really fun to be a part of.
So beautiful, beautiful vocals too.
Thank you.
And how did you all meet, Roxanne? How did everybody find each other?
Well, in fact, Elise and Hannah were both my interns from USC. They're both USC students.
So am I.
With me in the summer.
Right on.
Yeah, right on.
Elise was with me in 2017 in the summer, and Hannah was interning me while this was with me while this was going on. And I was telling her about it, and I wanted to have a performer singing it that had a real connection to the story. And I was telling her, I was looking, and I said, Hannah, I'm looking for the right singer for this. And she said, well, I'll sing it for you. And I said, do you have any veterans in your family? And she said, yes, I have many veterans, and 2 were killed in combat. And I said, okay, fine.
Sold.
Well, I think that comes through in the vocals, in the arrangement, and also the lyrics. I think that the connections that you all have with veterans, with loved ones, you can feel it. It's very powerful. Roxanne, would you mind giving me a lyric or two that from the song that really, if you could, that really speaks to you when you wrote it?
Oh my goodness, I don't have it in front of me right now.
Well, Love and War, the title, originally wasn't for the Veterans History Project, right? It was for a television show. What did the title In Love and War mean to you when you put it together, and what does it mean now? How does it relate?
Well, I think that we all if we are all in something together, we are going to be able to overcome whatever it is that we are challenged with.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes love to do that and to be, on the same page and connected. And I think that with that kind of bond, you can overcome and get through whatever it is you're facing.
And we all do have that connection, don't we, as in the United States, as Americans, and pretty much worldwide. I mean, we have that connection that, there have unfortunately been times of war, and we got family members that have fought or been in service. Almost, I think almost everybody does in some way. And so we all do have that human connection there, and we have the connection of love. And Hannah, what about you when you sing those lyrics? And I'm sorry for your loss of your family members that fought in combat, and I'd love to remember them today with you on the show. But what lyrics really get you choked up, get you emotional when you sing the song In Love and War?
There was a lot of different lyrics that I was really connecting to and feeling, like the chorus, especially like in Love and War, and the ones where it's like fighting, and you could say like I don't know, pretty much like the whole song I connected to. I can't think of like a specific line that's jumping out right now. But like basically it just like allowed me to connect with those members of my family who some of them I didn't even ever get to meet, but just like hearing their stories and like knowing that that's a part of me, and then being able to like relate that to the song and how they're fighting, and in the end it's just In Love and War will win. Like, so it was just like the power behind the song and the message that was really like pushing me forward.
And we're gonna go to break here in just a moment with In Love and War, and I'm gonna have Roxanne tell us a little bit about this first song this first version. But before we do, Elise, I don't think that there is a musical instrument for me personally, other than maybe the violin, but the piano to me is my favorite instrument, because it brings out, it really can hit you in the heart and and choke you up, and you can feel emotion through a piano. Did you feel your ancestors, your family, did that channel through you as you worked on this piece?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I felt everything, especially from the lyrics. It really inspired me to dig in more, because the piano is, like you said, it's a very, special instrument, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more than just the notes and the rhythms. The piano is so capable of bringing out different colors.
Yeah.
And just by the slightest, touch of the key, you could change the whole kind of the dynamic and the emotional
palette.
integrity.
Yeah. Now it's interesting you just said that, because I've brought that up with musicians before, and I see music sometimes in colors. I'm not musically gifted, but when when I listen to music, I can feel colors. I can feel the weight of the song and the notes. And it's interesting that you see that as well with the piano. I don't know if I've heard anybody mention that before, but I've often thought about it. We're going to go to a quick commercial break right here. We are talking this hour with three very, very special guests. I'm so happy that they joined us on this program for this Memorial Weekend. The song is In Love and War. The lyrics are by Roxanne Seeman and music by Charles Fox. It's performed by Hannah Goldblatt and accompanied by pianist Elise Salberg. And can you tell me anything about this first version that we're going to hear right now, Roxanne? Is there anything that anybody want to mention real quickly before we go to break?
This is the version that was that the Library of Congress streamed, right?
Yeah, the Veterans History Project, the 20th anniversary celebration event at the Library of Congress, Washington, D.C., last November 7th.
Well, this was an incredible experience of all of us getting together, in addition to the Max Sennett team, who
Mhm.
gave us the studio and did all of the video and the lighting and the audio. That was Brandon Fuller and Alfredo Ramirez and Jesse Rogg, who is the owner of Max Sennett Studio. And this was done during COVID. So it was just incredible that we were all able to get this together.
Okay, so here it is, In Love and War. And you can check out this video that Roxanne is talking about at macsennetstudios.net, spelled MACKSENNETT, studios.net. We'll be right back after this short break. I'm gonna read the commercial. Ready? Okay. In Love and War, with lyrics by Roxanne Seeman and music by Charles Fox, is performed by Hannah Goldblatt and accompanied by pianist Elise Solberg. Find Roxanne Seeman on Instagram at Roxanne Seeman, ROXANNESEEMAN. You can find keyboardist, songwriter, producer, and composer Elise Salberg on Instagram at Elise Yuka. That's spelled ELISEYUKA. Also, you can find her on elisesalberg.com. And follow Hannah Goldblatt on Instagram at hannah.goldblatt, spelled HANNAH.GOLDBLATT. Find out more about the Veterans History Project and how you can help at www.loc.gov/vets.
That
So
was
we'll
the
play
wrong
that at every
that was the wrong information for me.
for who?
For me, Hannah.
Oh, sorry, Hannah. I had the video off. Okay, so that's not you?
Not my account.
It looks like you a little bit on there. Okay, let me redo that one then.
Okay,
Dr.
ready?
D, what is the right information first? Let me
I
fix
put it
that.
in the chat. It's Hannah LG123.
Hannah LG 123. Hannah LG. It's spelled HANNAH, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay, you ready? 3, 2, 1.
And follow Hannah Goldblatt on Instagram at Hannah LG123.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I didn't think there was that much there for you, so I'm glad that's like there's got to be more here. There's only, I think, 3 posts on that one. Okay.
Okay, and the next one is coming up. We'll go there. All right, here we go.
So the next one, Roxanne, if you want to talk about this, is In Love and War, Elise Salberg, solo pianist accompaniment. Do you want to talk about how that song is different, and is there
this
some
is
different?
actually the piano solo of that song.
Okay. So hold on, save it.
Elise can talk about that.
Okay, sure. Then I'm going to come back to you, Elise. And when
Okay.
Richard counts us down, we'll be right back.
Okay.
You guys are great.
Oh, thanks. I'm sorry I didn't have the my lyrics.
You've written so many songs. I'm sure it's
Okay.
you want to get it right.
Oh,
I know.
remember. So I do remember it, but I you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, to have it when you read it, you want it to match, right? Going by memories, I always have to have everything written down.
All right.
A little more difficult.
Ready?
Okay.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. You're live.
Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. It's Memorial Day weekend, and I hope that everybody out there is having fun and being safe, but also remembering the veterans that have sacrificed and the families that have sacrificed so much for us to be able to do so. Thank you for joining us on this special show today. We have Roxanne Seeman, we have Elise Salberg, and we've also got Hannah Goldblatt. They came together to work on a very, very beautiful song. You heard it going to break. If you're just joining us, you heard it coming back from break. It's called In Love and War. And the version that you just heard was the solo piano accompaniment of the song. It's the version of the song from Elise Salberg. And Elise joins us today. Where are you at today, Elise? Where do you join us from?
I am currently in Riverside.
Okay. Well,
Mhm.
welcome to the show. The piano's so beautiful in this song and in that version. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, so I think it was starting in October of last year, 2020, when Roxy asked me about joining her for this great project. And I really just connected with her song so much. And as somebody who also has veterans in her family, it just really spoke to me. And I just wanted to make something um, that we would all be proud of. And I thought the song could take on a new character with more gravity to it. If you heard Roxy's version for the television show, it's quite different. So my philosophy is always that if you have a great song, it it can sound good in just about any context. So it was actually very natural to me. I get so excited when I have a great song that I can arrange and work around. So it was really just a thrill for me.
So beautiful. Tell us a little bit about those ancestors, those family members, and some of their personal stories, if you don't mind. Share with
Yeah,
us what
of course.
what Memorial Day means to you, but more importantly, what what your family has fought for and your love for them.
Yes. So it's funny you mentioned Memorial Day because usually on Memorial Day, I would always fly back to Denver to visit my family because every single Memorial Day, without fail, we would always visit my grandfather's grave, and we would just remember him. I never got to meet him because he passed before I was born, but it was always so good to just be there, in the presence of his spirit always.
Mhm.
And just hear about him through my grandmother, who has also passed away now. But we would always hear great things about him and, his story. He was a World War II veteran. So he's buried in Fort Logan Cemetery in Denver, Colorado.
What is
And
his name?
his name is Laverne Solberg. And in World War II, he was in the US Army. He was awarded 2 Purple Heart medals for saving the lives of his fellow soldiers.
Wow.
And my grandma always had the medals displayed in her home, and I would always pass by them each time I visited her, and always just remember the sacrifice that he made for our family and also the country. And we always just remember him always on Memorial Day. And my father kind of followed in his footsteps, thankfully not in wartime. He didn't serve during war, but he was in the US Air Force in the Air Force Band. And he was stationed in several different places around the world. And most importantly, he was stationed in Japan, where he met my mother. And that's a very fun story to go into, but he was stationed at Yokota Air Force Base, where I was born. And he just got to travel the world performing in so many different contexts. But I think the most important one, personally to me, was performing for all types of citizens in Japan, whether it's Japanese school children, even worn down barns in Japan, like somewhere in the country, even Suntory Hall. But the mission of the band in Japan that he was stationed at was to develop meaningful connections to the citizens, because after World War II, the relationship between Japan and the US wasn't all too great. So part of the way of kind of repairing that relationship and making it an allyship was, through the band, them performing around the world. And each time I went to a performance that my father was in with the band, the people, the Japanese citizens loved it.
Yeah.
They love music, so I really felt that.
Once again, music is the uniter, right? Of love around the world. I mean, music, nothing does that as well as music. What was your father's name? Did you say? I'm sorry.
It's Tate Solberg.
Okay. And what instrument did he play in the band?
He played the tenor saxophone.
Oh, beautiful. Well, what a great story. And do you want to tell the story about your mother and your father, how they met? I mean, this is In Love and War.
Sure. Yeah. So it's also based on music, which is funny. So my mother was working at the time after she graduated from college. She was working at a Yamaha store in Tokyo. And one day, and this is also serendipitous because she always showcased the Electone keyboards, but somehow this one day she was working the front desk and everyone else ran away because the Americans were coming and they didn't know how to speak English that well. So they just kind of put my mom on the spot, said, you just deal with them. Because my father and his friends were looking for reeds and stuff for their instruments. And so when my father was looking for the reeds, it kind of was funny because he had to repeat himself and slow down his speaking. And I think maybe that was the way they connected more, is because they had to actually spend a little more time together talking.
Listen to each other.
Right.
Did your father speak Japanese?
No, not at all.
Oh. And your mother, obviously, did she speak English very well?
At the time, she only spoke a little bit, so it was a little hard for her to understand.
What a great story. And then again, music united them. You were born for music. You were born and here to do what you were meant to do. The song is In Love and War. And Roxanne, we're going to listen to the next version here. Do you want to tell us anything special about that? We've just got about 30 seconds until our break. This is In Love and War, Charles Fox, lyrics by Roxanne Seeman. This one was originally written for television, and it was for Conan the Adventurer in 1998 and recorded by Terry Reid. Anything else specific that comes to mind with this version, Roxanne?
Well, I don't know if you know anything about Terry Reid, but he's a phenomenal recording artist. He's British. The famous story was that he was offered to be the lead singer of Led Zeppelin, and he gave that to Robert Plant. He introduced Robert Plant.
Betty was bummed about turning that one down, huh? That gig.
But he had his own career. He's released, I think, 5 albums. We've worked together over the years. He's one of the most phenomenal singers. So that's Terry Reid singing that. I call
All right. Well, Terry Reid, here's Terry Reid. Song is In Love and War. And again, the lyrics are by Roxanne Seeman, our very special guest today, along with Hannah Goldblatt, who's on vocals. We're going to hear from her next. And we've also got Elise Salberg. This song is great. Here is the where it all started, the original. And we'll be right back after this break.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So how much time do we have left, Dr. Deed? Since we're not going to overtime, I want to make sure that we get it.
2 short segments.
That's it?
What we've got left. Yeah.
How many minutes is that?
Not long. Because of the songs, it takes up, we play good portions of the song. So it takes up some of our interview time. We might have to go into a little overtime. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it in. How long is that, Richard?
I can give you 5 for the next segment and then do what you need with the second.
Okay. So we're going to come back with Hannah. Hannah, I'd like to have you tell your story. And if you don't mind, the history with your family and what they've sacrificed and all that.
I am ready when you are.
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1. You're live.
Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. We have three very, very special guests today on this very special Memorial Day weekend. God, what a year that we've all been through, almost 2 years now. And for me, I think, back to, you kind of evaluate everything, right? Over the last year and a half, we've all reevaluated our lives, what's important to us. Our family is so important. It's the main thing. And love, as Roxanne said, is what heals us, what gets us through. Our families have all in some way been involved in love and in war, but in the military over the years. I think everybody has some sort of a connection, and they have struggled, parents away from home, fathers away, mothers away from home, serving our country and sacrificing time with loved ones, time in their lives that are sacrificed for the country and for all of us to enjoy this beautiful weekend that we all are enjoying right now. And so we have three very special guests. Again, Roxanne Seeman, who wrote the lyrics for In Love and War. And we have Elise Salberg, who is the pianist and on the song and restructured, reconcepted the song for the Veterans History Project. And it was performed by Hannah and sang by Hannah Goldblatt, performed by pianist Elise Salberg, and premiered in November 7th, 2020 during the Library of Congress Veterans History Project 20th anniversary. I go to the Veterans History Project. This is a great cause, a great site where you can put the stories of your loved ones, of the veterans in the family. And you can also contribute in other ways, but it's a great site to have the stories, keep the stories for generations, and to share what people have gone through. The website, loc.gov/vets. So we came back with stop for a second. Roxanne, I don't want to mess up the pronunciation. I jumped here though. Here, okay. Come back to me. Never mind. Okay. Well, can we start up again, Dr. D?
Go. I got it marked.
We came back with Come Back to Me, Roxanne Seeman's lyrics for Guy A. How do you say that name? I'm sorry.
Guy Saher.
Saher. Guy Saher. Okay.
Guy Saher.
Let me do that one more time, Dr. D. We came back from break with Roxanne Seeman's Come Back to Me by Guy A. Saher.
Oh, no, it's sung by, I think it's Fatih Erkoç. It's
Okay, why don't we do this? I'm going to do this one more time, and I'm going to let you tell me about the song. And then I'm going to go to Hannah and talk to her about her story. And then we'll finish with your father on the second break. Okay, so Roxanne, I'm gonna throw it right to you. I'll just say the title of the song, and then you can tell us about everybody. I don't want to mess anybody's name up. Okay.
3, 2, 1.
We came back from break from Come Back to Me. Roxanne, tell us about the song.
The song was written. It was a poem by Fikret Goja, who's a famous Azerbaijani poet who died this month. So that was one of the reasons I chose it. And the arrangement is by Paul Buckmaster, my good friend. And his father and my father both served in the war. He's British, and they both served in Naples. So I just thought it was a nice connection, and it's a beautiful song. And it was made famous by Polat Bulbuloglu, who was the Minister of Culture of Azerbaijan. And I think he's a diplomat, ambassador to the Soviet Union from there. And he's been singing that song since the 60s.
Wow.
And I wrote in English. I was asked to write an English lyric for it, adapting Fikret Goja's famous poem.
Well, it's a beautiful song, and thank you. I think it is perfect for this Memorial Day weekend. Hey, let me take our next break real quick, and then we'll come back and talk to Hannah. I don't want to have to cut her off in her story here. We'll be right back. If you're listening to the Jeremiah Show, Memorial Day weekend.
We're clear. Let me,
Thank you for doing that, Roxanne. I think we would have had some trouble. I'm terrible at pronunciation notes. How's everybody doing? Richard's just cleaning it up right now.
that's what I want to cut it there. Okay. So this is
What-
our final
Any
segment.
plans for the weekend, Roxanne?
Not in particular. Just keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, you're doing great work. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. So this is also a short segment. We need to
I love this project.
sort of bring it to a close here. All right. So talk
Well-
to Hannah real quick and then we'll,
Oh, I thought this is we could go after
if
this.
you want to do, yeah.
Didn't we
okay,
take
that's
that
fine.
break? Take that break
We're-
early? and
Yeah,
then-
we're done. Yeah.
Okay,
We're
okay,
done with
cool.
that. All right.
Cool. So I don't have to interrupt you guys at all anymore here.
Here we go.
All right. So we're going to come back. Let me just, before we do, sorry, Richard, so
It's okay.
you don't have to
It's
clean
fine.
anything up.
No, it's fine.
K con me. How do I'm so sorry. I'm
Oh, you're talking about the song?
yeah, the song.
Oh, Kui Con May.
Qui con me. Okay.
Con me. We con me.
Are you helping me out, Richard?
I am.
Thank
You
you.
want me to talk about this song?
Yes. And then Hannah, we are going to get to you right after that, directly after that. But
Okay,
yes, please,
I-
Roxanne.
All right. I chose this because
Oh,
these.
hold on one second. We're not recording yet. Go ahead, Rich. You want to count me down?
Yes.
We're coming back right now, Roxanne, and then I'll have you tell me about the song.
In 3, 2, 1. You're live.
Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. Memorial Day is this Monday. Please take the day, take a moment, take whatever time you need, but remember all of the veterans and all of the family members and loved ones in our lives that have either lost their lives or sacrificed so much for us. Memorial Day weekend. You are joining us on Memorial Day weekend. We have Roxanne Seeman, we have Elise Salberg, and Hannah Goldblatt. They are our very special guests. They recorded a song together called In Love and War. It's part of the Veterans History Project. Again, I want to tell you, go to loc.gov/vets and check it out. The Veterans History Project is a really great cause. This song was debuted, I guess, at Library of Congress last year on Veterans Day, and Roxanne Seeman wrote the lyric. But we came back from break with K Com May. Roxanne, do you want to tell us about that song?
Was that the Chinese version or the American one?
This was the American, and we
So
will
that-
leave with the Chinese version if you want to tell us about both.
Okay, awesome. So this song was written with George Komsky, who is an operatic singer, pop singer, and Ivo Moring, who is a German producer. And we wrote this, and it was recorded in China. It was performed live in China by a bel canto group called Super Vocal on a television show called Singer 2020. It was so popular that they got 40 million views in 24 hours. And we've now finished our production with George Komsky singing it, and you're hearing it for the first time. We're about to release that version. It was performed initially in Italian and Chinese, and then Decca released it in Chinese as a single, and now we're releasing it by George Komsky in Italian.
Very beautiful. Very beautiful. Well, thank you for that, Roxanne. Your music, your lyrics are so powerful. It's such a great long career as a lyricist, but and so many other things in music. Hannah Goldblatt, you met her. She was an intern, yes, and now is the vocalist for In Love and War. A powerful voice, beautiful vocals. Hannah, tell us, if you wouldn't mind, a little bit about your background in music.
So my background in music, ever since I was like a little girl, I loved music. I would be singing around the house, dancing. I really wanted to learn how to play the drums, but my parents encouraged me to learn piano first. So I started taking piano. After that, I moved on to learning drums. After that, I started taking vocal lessons, and then I moved on to the guitar. And then I actually just graduated from USC with a Bachelor of Science in Music Industry last week. And so now
Congratulations.
I'm currently in Sarasota right now working on my EP. I'm going to drop my first single this summer. So I have a ton of music content coming soon, primarily in the R&B pop genre. So I'm super excited about that. I have a lot of new content, new music videos, all that coming up really soon. So stay tuned for that.
Well, I hope you come back to our show and premiere your single. We'd love to play it and
Yes,
get it out there.
definitely.
That looks like quite the studio you're in there. So you said where you're at in Sarasota?
Yeah, I'm in Sarasota right now doing like a 10-day music lock-in. I made 4 songs in the past 3 days. I'm gonna make 2 more tonight. So I'm really locking in, making some really good content. It's coming out
Well,
really well.
thanks for interrupting your your creative process to join us on the show today. And I'm so happy that you did. And good luck with that. We'll get you off here so you can get back to creating 2 more songs tonight. I don't know what I'm doing after this, Doctor. Do you think I might have a lunch?
That's a good idea.
I'm not doing anything
I
creative.
like it.
Hannah, tell us about your family members who have fought for us and lost, the couple that have lost their lives, if you wouldn't mind, and tell us your history with veterans in your family. Tell their
Yeah,
stories.
so my grandfather Seymour, he served in the army in 1955. He was pretty much just testing atomic bombs.
I love that
And his
name,
older
Seymour.
brother Jerry, yeah, his older brother Jerry, my great uncle, he served during World War II. He was in the Navy on a battleship working on communications. And then my great uncle Harold, he was a navigator in the Air Force in Italy during World War II. So he served his time. He had a wife back at home with a baby on the way. He was ready to head home. And since he was really specialized in his role there, they asked him if he could stay for one more mission, and he agreed. So he was flying over Czechoslovakia. The plane got shot down, and all 10 American soldiers had to bail out. So some of the men were able to escape and were saved by the underground. Some got captured, but Harold actually got murdered by the Nazis because he was wearing Hebrew dog tags when he was found. So he died a hero. And my other cousin Sal, he was a paratrooper in World War II, and he had his team was about to be bombarded, and he essentially went on a solo combat mission to save the rest of his troop, and he died in the process of that. So that's my family's history in the U.S. Army.
Thank you for telling their stories. Would you mind mentioning their names?
Yeah, so Seymour Goldblatt, Jerry Goldblatt, Harold Levine, and I'm not sure what Sal's last name is. I think it's Sal Goldblatt.
I can't help but think about, the country, what we've all gone through. It's almost, it's a very difficult time in so many ways. But on top of that, it feels like, racial unrest and racial, there's hate crimes against Jewish people that are in the news again. Asian Americans. And I think about all of the people that have fought in the wars, all the people that have built this country, from Jewish people to Asian people to African American. I mean, we're all together in this. And this weekend, I hope that we think about what every culture has contributed and go back to that. I just love the title, In Love and War, and not forget what Roxanne Seeman has said about, love, heals, and we have a lot in common, more in common, than we have difference, and your families have sacrificed so much. So thank you. And thank you for sharing those stories. Very tragic what happened to your grandfather. Hannah, USC, I just wanted to again congratulate you on graduating at USC. I just want to tell a little quick story. I went to USC Film School, which is right next to the music department there, as you know.
Yeah.
And that was, so I would sit, I mean, they're right on top of each other. And I would sit outside and read or study or just listen to music at all my breaks. So I have a real fond memory of that music department. And I think you guys agree or disagree with me, but music, not only does it bring us all together, and that's a lot of what all of our shows are about, is the music and the personal stories of the musicians and how we have all this in common through music and this love for music. But I think when bands are practicing like they do there at USC music, the music department, I forget the correct title, but when they're practicing and there's that, you know, different music sounds, but they're not all finished, they're not all together in sync. That's almost beautiful music too, isn't it? Where there's just musicians just trying out their instruments and going through parts of a song. I think it's kind of very beautiful.
Yeah, I used to always love walking to classes. There would be people like playing guitar on the lawn or like singing or trumpet or like whatever it is, and they're just like totally tuned into it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Well, I love that we all went to USC together. Roxanne, did you go to USC?
No, I went to Columbia University, actually, to Barbra College.
Oh, I was going to say, don't say UCLA. Okay, Roxanne, I want to talk about, and so by the way, Hannah, before I let you go on, don't leave, please, but before I finish here with you on this, the single that you have coming out, can you give us a title, and do you have a date that we can look forward to the single?
Yeah, so my first single I'm going to release is called Runaway, and I'll be shooting the video next month, so I'm going to aim to release it the first week of July.
Oh, great. Well, please come to us and let us premiere and talk about it. Elise, you also are a very accomplished musician. You tour with, tell us about your tour. Tell us about the musicians that you play with before we go to Roxanne. Wanted to hear a little bit more about your amazing career.
Yes, so I graduated a couple years ago from USC, and right after I graduated, I started playing with the artists you mentioned earlier, Chloe and Halle, and it's just been such a pleasure working with them whenever they've needed a band to do their performances, and I feel just very lucky because everyone that's in the band for them is very sweet and very humble, and the music director also, I'm grateful for Derek Dixie. He pushes us a lot so that we can bring our best performance, and I feel that I have leveled up in some certain ways. And so I just feel very blessed to have performed with them.
And do you have anything special coming up besides this great song we're listening to, In Love and War? Do you have anything to look forward to that we can tease our listeners with?
Yes, well, I'm currently in Riverside. We're in production, rehearsal and training for a television show that'll be coming out next year.
I wasn't sure if I could mention that, so I'm glad you're mentioning that. What's the TV show? Can you say?
I can't say the name, but it will be on HBO Max, and it will be airing next fall in 2022.
I love everything that HBO does, so I'm looking forward to that. Well, thank you. Roxanne Seeman, you brought everybody together with In Love and War, this song. You brought all of, Elise and Hannah, and you've brought this out to, you've premiered this with the Veterans History Project in the Library of Congress. The song is great. It will live on forever, as much of your music does and will. Roxanne, you're such a great writer. Tell us a little bit about your family, your father, and your history with the Veterans History Project.
Well, I'd like to talk a little bit about my father being in the 6th Port of Embarkation.
Yeah, please.
You know, it's an area that in in these two interviews that he did, he said it wasn't spoken about much, but this is an army unit, a military unit that was the support troops. There was a support unit for the troops, and what they did, they loaded and unloaded the men and the cargo onto the ships. They worked the ports. So they started. He started at the sixth port started in New York, at Fort Hamilton, and then they went over to Casablanca. They went to Naples and to Marseille. But the interesting thing, was that the Queen Mary, the first voyage that it did in wartime, World War II, it was sent from the UK over to Australia, where it was refitted, and then it was sent to the Brooklyn Navy Yard. And my father and Major Wallach, whom he reported to, handled the logistics for loading the entire, what they call the Big Red One, which was the first infantry division, which had a little over like 16,500 troops, something like that. And they had to figure out exactly where all the men would sleep and how they would organize this. So they did that, and they were supposed to go with them actually to England. They ended up loading them all and loading the cargo, and then they were sent to Casablanca, where they went on a flat-bottom boat, a Swedish flat-bottom boat, and had to wait in the harbor for 8 days until the Battle of Casablanca was over. From there, he was a lawyer, actually. He was 27, so he had practiced law for like 3 years. And when he got to Naples, they asked him to handle he represented different cases. And, he was a young lawyer doing this. Some of the cases that he handled were the local Italians, where they had no food, and they didn't have clothes and stuff. So sometimes they'd take the cans of Spam, something like that, and as long as they dropped it, they weren't charged, as long as it wasn't in their hand. So there was a running joke that the ground was sprouting cans of Spam. But another case, he represented 25 soldiers who, well, that's a longer story. It was in Anzio, where they were all told they had to leave immediately and leave all their bags in the barracks, and they would follow with the bags. When they got to Naples, with the bags came separately. There were things in those bags that shouldn't have been there, like brand new boots and stuff like that. And he was asked to represent the soldiers. It was like a court-martial, really. But he represented them on the American judicial philosophy that you are innocent until proven guilty, and there was no way to prove that these men were guilty of that. So they were all, not guilty on that, and it was a really very beautiful thing.
When you talked to your father, when you had that time with him, where you said you guys watched the video on YouTube together, you would watch it together in the 12-minute video. How special was that time for you to be able, and how special was it for your father to share, even if it wasn't spoken? Could you tell that was special for him to have that time with you to share what he had been through?
This for him was everything. I mean, he talked about it, and as if anytime he talked about it, it was as if it was happening right then. And that was throughout his life. When they uploaded the video, NSTV, to YouTube, and we found it, it was 2016. So he was already 102 years old. And it was incredible to be at the kitchen table, and I'd put it on and say, "Look, Murray," and there he was. And it was a phenomenal thing to share that, because he lit up.
I remember sitting with my grandfather, Clifford J. Peralt, and I would sit with him and we'd watch Johnny Carson together when I was a really little kid. And he would tell these stories as if it was happening to him right there as well. And I wonder, and did you all have that experience with family members where them sharing that story was, Did you feel the power of what they'd been through and their experience and the sacrifice they'd gone through in their lives? Hannah and Elise, did you also get that?
Definitely,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I think the sharing of the stories is so important, as you said, Roxanne, and the experience to share their personal stories and their experiences. And so you can, the Veterans History Project, what a great idea to upload, to put your stories up there for generations to share and hear them and not forget. Thank you for sharing that story about your father, Roxanne. Spam, it always pops up somewhere, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It just keeps popping up, spam. In Love and War is the single. Dr. D, did you have any questions?
I was just going to say that I know there are a lot of people who don't like it, but I love spam. I'm sorry, but there's just something about it. And by the way, you do realize that in Hawaii, it's a mainstay.
I know. I lived there for a while.
Yeah.
Opening the restaurant, Fleetwood's on Front Street.
There you go.
Okay. MacSennettStudios.net. Check out the concert, I guess I could say, that you guys did for the Library of Congress last year. Such a great song, In Love and War. Roxanne Seeman, performed by Hannah Goldblatt. She's the vocalist, accompanied by Elise Salberg, the pianist. It was recorded for the Veterans History Project 20th Anniversary Celebration event at Library of Congress, Washington, D.C. Beautiful, beautiful song, beautiful stories. Thank you all for coming and sharing your family history and a little bit of your families and their names and they won't be forgotten. And Roxanne Seeman, we interviewed her way back in it was season 6, episode 225. You got to check it out because you'll really get some good stories by Roxanne and her career. I mean, we don't have enough time in one show to ever cover what Roxanne has been up to. Roxanne, what's next? And what do you, final words for the audience?
Well, I'm doing a very international project that I'm very proud of. I'm working with 2 young Latin producers that are based in El Salvador. And the artist singer is Riwa, her name is. She's Indian, based in Mumbai. And we are recording tracks from El Salvador. The drummer is in Colombia, South America. Riwa is recording her vocals in Mumbai. I was introduced by Umberto Gatica, the famous producer anyway, he called me for a project and introduced me to Riwa. So that's how that happened. He worked on We Are the World with Quincy Jones, Michael Jackson. He was the engineer involved in that project. So we got involved in another project that hasn't happened yet. That's in process too. And that's how I met Riwa, and that's how I got involved in this other project. And I think I gave you one more song because Riwa is on that, called Heart of Love, which is another side project that happened during COVID. So I figured it's a pandemic projects kind of, idea.
Well, you're always up to it's always so fun to talk to you because you're always up to something good and always creating and bringing us great music to the world. And so I thank you so much, Roxanne. I thank you, Elise and Hannah, for joining us today. Hannah, I hope you get those 2 songs finished tonight. We can't wait to hear your new single. And Elise, I can't wait to hear more from you and watch you on HBO Max next fall. I've already marked my calendar. That's what I'm doing next fall. Thank you all for joining us. Everybody, remember the veterans, remember those that are still out there, in the military, and send your love and your music, and communicate, listen more, and evolve. Everybody have a great week.